Welcome back to Off Screen with me, your host, Roger Steele, where we talk all things TGL presented by SoFi. Today, we are joined by the official referee for TGL, 30-year NBA ref veteran, Mr. Derrick Stafford. What's up, baby?
How are you? Thank you. Happy to be here.
So talk to me about this love affair that you have with the game of golf. You know, obviously we're going to get into the TGL implications and what you're doing for the league, but where did your relationship with the game of golf start?
Man, I played summer baseball until I was like 32, right before I got hired into the NBA. So baseball was my thing. I loved it. I played it in the summers, played in some very nice semi-pro leagues. When I left Morehouse, I had a tryout with the Houston Astros, went to spring training with them. So baseball was my love. So when I decided to stop playing, my dad said, you know, I think you might like golf. So I was like, golf? Didn't watch golf on TV, didn't know much about golf. So one day he went to a pawn shop, got some left-handed clubs, and we went down to the driving range, and I was trying to hit the ball, and I was like, man, this is a lot harder than I thought it would be. It was a struggle, but I was giving up baseball, so I needed another passion, and so I fell in love with golf. And the main thing I liked about golf is that I could practice by myself.
Yep.
I didn't need anybody to practice with me, so it was on me. And I remember playing with some of the older guys who were caddies back in the day. And a lot of these guys were gamblers, old school gamblers. They ran the numbers. They did a little bit of everything. And they would tell me, Derrick, hey, you got to go practice if you want to be good at this. Because once you come to the course, we're not giving you any breaks.
Hey, that's the best way to learn.
Man, the guys I played with, they didn't believe in the handicap system.
I was telling people that the handicap system was new for me. As a kid growing up, it was just, man, if you lost, you lost. You had to pay. You know what I mean?
No handicap in the hood, brother. My friends would tell me we wouldn't even have tee times.
Yeah.
You would know to show up at the golf course between 4 and 5. If you wanted to play 9 or you wanted to play 18, and you knew 15, 16 people would show up.
Yep.
And the guys looked out for me when I first started, so they were like, because a lot of them knew my dad, so they're like, Derrick, hey, you got to have at least 2, 3 side bets. And then you could play in the rabbit and the squirrel.
Yeah, rabbit and squirrel, that's crazy.
And
people
I was
don't
like,
know about the rabbit and
I
squirrel.
know people don't know, so it was like, okay, man, I'm gonna have my 2 or 3 side bets. I know I'm gonna lose.
Yeah.
It's okay, but I can still go out here and try to win one animal. If I
Yeah.
win one animal, then it was worth my entire day.
Man, you just talking my language right now. Okay, so that leads me into my TGL questions. You are the first referee that golf has ever seen. How does that feel to just carry that weight? Like the first referee is Derrick Stafford. What that mean to you?
You know, I've thought about it a couple of times, and you know, shout out to my buddy Wendell Haskins for
Big Wendell. Yeah.
at the time he was working with the TGL. He called me up, and when he presented to me, I had no idea what he was talking about. But I did know that I was not about to start studying rules again. I did not want to go through that process. So he was like, I don't think it's going to be quite like that. Do you think you want to come down and talk to the TGL? And loving golf like I do, it's like, yes, hey man, I would love to come down and talk. To come to Florida, maybe I'll call some of my buddies, play a little golf, and I did while I was down here. So that was fun. And when I came down and they presented it to me, I was like, man, this could be nice. And then I felt the responsibility. It's like, okay, if you're going to do this, you got to make sure you represent, make sure you stay fit, make sure you do all the things you need to do, because I'm representing referees.
Right.
And if I'm the first doing this, I want to do a great job. I want them to realize that the importance of having us as a part of the game, and the players understand my role and understand that I'm a part of the game. And hopefully it can lead to something else.
So, I mean, you just spoke on it, but what do you feel is the primary role of having this referee implemented into this TGL gameplay?
I think the team aspect that they're trying to achieve, you need a referee in a team aspect. And I think that we can have some interaction, and I think people can see the game from a different perspective. They can see it as a team sport. So even sometimes guys can go to the golf course and play 3-on-3 against each other. For 9 holes. You have to play 18. Play some different type situations, best ball, alternating shot. So I think people are going to realize that golf can be fun. And now a person that's not even that good can go play with 2 people that are pretty good, enjoy the game, have a good time, play 9 holes, and go home. And I feel like me being a part of this, the players will get a chance to understand what it's like to have an official,
Right.
somebody they can talk to. You know, we're going to banter a little bit. We're going to have fun. And I still had that technical file in my pocket if I need it. So it's going to be great.
You know, a lot of people don't realize this, but like, you know, in some of the bigger money matches that I'm sure you played in Atlanta and I played up in Chicago, we had like elements of referees. We had people that were spectating, that was weighing in on things. They were like, no, that's this. No, he went there. No, he went there. And I think that when you have that referee implemented into team play, it really makes it more about you and the opponent. Like you feel like you're in more of a battle than if it's just you two on the course. You know what I mean? There's something about having that mediator there where it's like I'm really locked in on the competitive, you know, me versus you elements of what's happening on the course.
You know, I did a 2-man tournament one time, and I had a person ride around with each player to make sure that everything was fair, because we know the reputation about these best ball tournaments. We know these scrambles. We know we don't trust people sometimes.
It's a game of integrity, but you need people that enforce it sometimes. You know.
But you need people to, you know, sort of guarantee everything's okay.
It's a good little insurance policy.
Yes.
So look, so with TGL, there's a bunch of things that they're adding into the game that obviously require the referee, right? So this is a departure from regular golf. You got the shot clock. You got the hammer.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Those are two things that I'm really looking at. You know, there's rules, things that are happening that you got to make a split-second call on. Like, is this going to be a penalty? Is this good? Is this not good? What are the things that you're most excited about coming into the season to kind of see how they play out and enforce?
It's funny you say that, because the one thing that people don't notice that I've had to notice by doing this is that I have to pay attention to everybody's setup, because I have to put my hand up to let them know they can't throw the hammer. They can't call a timeout because the player is getting ready to hit the ball. And it's been interesting for me to see all the different type things that people do prior to hitting the ball. So I'm trying to figure out the exact time that is fair if they want to call timeout, it's fair if they want to throw the hammer, but also throw my hand up to let them know it's over. So that's the first thing that's different about this. The hammer is very interesting. It changes the dynamics of the game, and the players are going to have to think about the right time to do it, because you can throw it, they can throw it right back on you. So it's really a process of thinking and being smart. I was impressed with some of the pros, the times that they threw it, and that shot clock. That shot clock, a penalty of one stroke on a hole. That is a major penalty. So I even try to help them a little bit. You know, they do have 2 timeouts, so I know how valuable that timeout is, but I also know how valuable that point is. So I'll say to them, hey, you got 12, you got 13, because I know they're not used to it. So, and and I have to be aware of the clock, be aware of the swing. And fortunately, I have Mark in the booth that can help me, and Scott, you know, in the truck that can help me if the shot clock goes off while I'm watching them swing. Yeah,
it's something, you know, watching it in rehearsals and seeing how the game is actually played and how fast it's played. If you get over that tee shot and you kind of unsure about a line because the holes are holes that you haven't seen before, if you like I want to go here, but I'm not quite hitting it good enough to take that line on, and if you change your mind, I mean, you may not have time to you know, pick a different target line, get back over to the computer, grab the different club. That shot clock is going to be a big deal, I think. And it's not just, you know, penalizing slow play, it's penalizing indecision.
That's true.
Like,
a couple guys hit shots in panic mode, and people don't realize that affected them. I mean, it affected their club face, their takeaway, because they looked up and saw 3 seconds and they went ahead and pulled the trigger before they were ready. And it's going to affect some shots.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that you would look at that would make this a successful season for you as a referee? Like, what's the rubric or, you know, the standards that you're holding yourself to ensure that you've done a good job?
I want it to be fun, but I want everything to be fair. And here's what I learned in doing basketball. I try to get every play right. So and I realize that in the time we live in now, that whether it's organized gambling or whether people just at home looking at the match and, hey man, $5, Tiger missed his putt.
Yep.
$5, Rory hits the longest drive. I mean, people are going to do this because people that play golf most people love to gamble. So I understand that. So I want people to say, okay, Derrick's on the match. We know it's above board.
Right.
We know everything is straight.
Right.
We don't have to worry. We know when he refereed basketball that he went out every night and tried to get every play right. The players will know, hey man, Derrick was above board.
Right.
And so I'm hoping that people feel comfortable knowing that I would not be a part of anything that's not legit.
Yeah. So in your experience so far with the players actually having a referee, what's been their response to having you on the field with them?
I think they've enjoyed it. The times that we've had some matches, I think they realize now that they can talk to me, they can say whatever, they can be aware of things. And by the same token, they help me out a lot because I said, hey man, what's your yardage on this shot? Because I need to know which box for them to hit from. And sometimes I can't see it on the screen. So they help me out with that. They help me out. Oh yeah, it's in the rough this time, Derrick. Okay, so we're learning to communicate. They're learning to communicate something that they would never do unless I guess they were talking to their caddy. So I'm hoping that I can help them and they can also help me.
That's true. So I'm going to go ahead and say it, but you really are a business solver for the TGL League presented by SoFi. Like, as a business solver, how do you feel that you're impacting the direction that golf is headed? Because this is one of the most innovative golf experiences that we've ever had. You being implemented into that is, changing the trajectory of the sport. Do you feel that TGL and your involvement in this is going to leave golf in a better place?
I certainly can see room for growth, just like in the NBA. When I first started, I think we had maybe 20 franchises, and then we moved to other cities, other locations. I'm hoping that the TGL will be able to branch out. I'm hoping at some point we even may have 2 leagues, where the one East Coast versus the West Coast for the championship.
Yeah.
So and this will be other opportunities for other people to have jobs, other referees. So I'm hoping that we do a great job, and I'm hoping they see the value in having an official, somebody you can talk to. Not only is going to implement the rules, but even with the players in basketball, I wasn't there just to get plays right, and I wasn't there just to enforce rules. I mean, there are times where I would have to try to help them in certain situations, and there are times where they could help me. So I'm hoping that they realize the value and that we can expand.
And then with our efforts to continue to grow the game, to help golf reach new audiences, do you think that TGL is positioned to do that for the broader golf landscape?
Absolutely. With the technology and kids now, younger kids now will be able to watch golf and understand it from a different perspective. The screens, the graphics, the yardage coming up, everything that's involved, I think kids will be more inclined to now watch and hopefully want to go out and play. And hopefully it touches every community.
Yeah, and I'm going to be the Derrick Stafford of all my groups because I'm going out there and enforcing that shot clock, baby. Hey, you got that 40 seconds. Hey, what's the call if somebody violates the shot clock? Is it a signal or something
If
that you
they
do?
violate that shot clock, man, you pat them on the head.
Yeah.
Yes, pat them on the head.
I'm
You're
patting
over.
heads this year. I'm patting heads this year. So you mentioned being a good referee is about appearance as well.
Oh, yeah.
You got to look like you could do the job. I see you got the business solver uniform on. How you feeling about the referee uniforms this year for TGL?
Well, they reached out to me and to get a little bit of my input, and I told them that I wanted to represent well. I wanted it to fit. I want to look nice, and I think the black stands out. And they were cool with me, wearing a little beard, something the NBA wouldn't be too happy with, and rocking my earring a little bit. So yeah, we're professional, but we're also innovative, and we're also stylish. We represent it every way.
You looking good. I'll take a one-shot penalty from you any day, man.
Okay.
With respect,
Yes, sir.
with respect.
Yes, sir.
Founding partners like Businessolver are all about innovation. How do you feel that them coming together with TGL is changing the sport of golf, especially in adding you in as a referee?
Adding a referee in golf is certainly innovation. I don't know who thought of it, whose idea it was, but it was very creative to bring a referee now to golf, 3-man team. I just think it was an incredible idea, and hats off to whoever made that decision.
All right, so I'm excited to see you in action this season. But something I want to familiarize myself with are the hand signals that you can be throwing when different stuff is happening. So what's the hand signal for the shot clock violation? One more time, what's the hand signal for that?
Just a nice little pat on the head.
Pat on the head.
Yep.
So this how I'm telling my friends they playing too slow. Okay.
Yes.
Is there a hand signal for when somebody concedes a hole?
Yeah, that's a little tricky. I'm getting used to it because they really don't want me to move my elbows, so
Yeah.
I can do it easier in the chair. But when I'm up, I kind of flex a little bit my elbows, so I'm trying to keep them still, but that's a little more difficult.
This conceding the hole.
Conceding the hole and the putt.
Conceding the putt, conceding the hole. This is it.
Yes.
So this is how I tell my friends I surrender.
Yes. Yes.
What other hand signals do they have in TGL that you can show us today?
Man, I like the hammer.
The hammer. What's the hammer?
The hammer's hand out, hand up, fist closed to let them know that the hammer's been thrown.
Yep.
Now, if the team accepts, ball this fist up and go. Hammer down. Yes, hammer down.
I like that. Any more? Is there any more signals?
Yeah.
What's timeout? Is
If they
timeout
decline,
basically?
if they decline, this is, they decline. They
Okay.
decline. If we're going timeout, we're going timeout above. We're
Yep.
wiping it like this, kind of the NFL timeout, because our timeout is hand up. So that's another signal that's cool. One thing that I'm gonna do is, particularly when they throw the hammer, we're gonna add a little flair to it. So there will be a time where they can score 3 points. So I'm gonna go, Boston wins the hole, and I'm gonna shoot and go 3 points. And if we ever have a time where it's 4 points, I'm gonna go, Boston wins the hole, slam, 4 points.
I like that. I like that. That's a part of the whole innovation of this. We're
Yes.
bringing other sports
Yes.
into golf. This is amazing. This is amazing. So obviously, with you being front and center at all these matches, I have reason to believe that your game is going to get a little better from seeing all of this stuff up close. Best golfers in the world
Yes.
competing week in, week out. What's your game looking like right now?
I'm 6, 7, 8 handicap right now.
A lot of
Playing decent golf.
That was floating though. Like
Yeah,
why you give me a rolling handicap? It's usually just one number that you give, but you
Well, as a brother, I'm sure you understand what I'm doing. You understand that depending on who I'm playing against, I might have to rotate my handicap a little bit. So normally I'm playing to a 6, but if I'm playing against some better guys, I may say, hey man, I'm playing to an 8 right now. I mean, I'm not really cheating because it's that time of year where I don't get to play a whole lot. So 6, 7, 8.
You know what? The flex index is something that
Yes.
everybody needs to implement.
Gotta understand.
I'm a lower index if I don't think that we gonna gamble. Once you put a little bit of money on the line, I'm gonna just bump it up a little bit so we could just, take human error into.
Well, see, that's where my refereeing takes over. I have the same mentality no matter whether I'm gambling or not. If we're playing for fun, I'm gonna still say 6, 7, 8 if I know you're a 3.
6, 7, 8. You just tell me straight up 6, 7, 8. I could be whatever
and
I
then
want to
you,
be
And
today.
then you say, well, okay, Derrick, because you get a little cocky and you say, okay, Derrick, you can be an 8. I'll take that.
Oh, so you giving people the option?
Yeah, if you're smart enough, you'll say, okay, you're 6. I say, oh, all right. But if you're feeling yourself and I say, hey man, what's your handicap? And you say, I'm a 3 or I'm a 4, I'm say, well, I'm a 6, 7, 8. What do you want to do? And you say, you want to be cocky and say, I'm gonna give you 8.
You're giving people room for their ego to just dismantle them themselves.
Yes.
Man, you a smart dude. Okay, so if we were going to set up this money match between you and I, in which case you would be a 6 that day.
Okay.
I don't play that. The ego never gets the best of me.
Okay.
What course would we go play? Any course in the world that you want to pick, what course would you take us to go do this little money game? A little rabbit and squirrel game, a little best ball game, a little skins game, a little Nassau, little...
Well, I'm born and raised in Atlanta, so I'm gonna stay a homeboy. I'm gonna pick one of my spots, one of the spots in Atlanta. So we're not going too far, even though there are a lot of beautiful courses all around the world,
100%.
particularly in Florida. If we play on the south side, we'll probably play Planterra Ridge. If we're just gonna play 9 holes, I'm gonna run you to Bobby Jones. And if we're gonna play 18 on the north side, Golf Club of Georgia.
Okay, all right. I'm going to go get my reps in, and after the season, we'll settle this as a 6.
Yes, sir.
Maybe a 5 after all this good golf we're about to watch. Derrick Stafford, TGL official referee. Thanks for the time today, brother.
I appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to it.
A great season this year. Great season.
Yes, sir.